How to write an essay part 2. So today we're going to be talking about how to write your first draft. So you'll be working on your paragraphs now after having made your outline. If you haven't seen that yet, you can look at my previous video wherein I showed you how to make an outline. And this video also comes with a PDF file, so you can also download that if you want and just read it. So if you are okay with a PDF, then you don't need to watch this video. You can save yourself some time. But for those of you who would want an actual demonstration of how to transform your outline into a paragraph, that's what I'm going to be showing you. So this video is for you. Okay, so let's talk about how to write a draft of your essay. And when I say draft, we're talking about the body. As I mentioned in the PDF, we don't start with the introduction. So we can go to that next week, but for the time being, we can move on first to our body. Okay, so what we're going to be working on today is the same outline, the first outline I gave you. So if you haven't seen this yet, this is also in your PDF file or in Moodle, and I also mentioned this in our video. Okay, so this is on the spot. This is on the spot. I didn't prepare. I didn't prepare for this. So I want to show you how to transform this outline here into a paragraph. Basically, for every point you have, we have 3 points, points A, B, and C. We are going to come up with one paragraph for each point. So I'm going to be writing that. I'm going to be doing that right now. As I said, this is on the spot. So I'm nervous. Not really. Not really. Uh it's just that I hope my mind would work as I do this. So there will be times I'm going to try to think out loud. When I say think out loud, it means whatever is on my mind, I'm going to be saying it out as I write so that you can, get a glimpse of what's going on in my mind as I write this. But and that means there would be times when my mind would lag. Like buffering. Sometimes I would not know how to write. I'm just giving you what normally happens when I write. And also I won't be focusing on grammar at this point. There is a place and there's a time for revision. That's going to be for step number 6, but I'm going to be showing you later on. So that means I might be committing some mistakes along the way as I write this, especially the first time, and it's pretty normal because remember, your goal in the first draft is simply to put your mind into put whatever is in your mind into words, into writing. But you cannot think of grammar, punctuation, or whatever at the same time. So just focus on the content. Okay? So with those things being said, let's get started. Okay. So again, I have to remind myself. So when I write, first I have to remind myself what's my topic. Okay, it's about trusting God during difficult times. And my thesis statement, the most important point that I'm making in this essay is that difficult times are opportunities for us to trust God more. Many young people have the tendency to stop praying and to backslide whenever they or not really just backslide, not really backslide, but maybe stop attending church or something like that. They would be surprised that um, trials. They're experiencing trials. They might be thinking, "Why, God? I thought God loves me," something like that. So that's why I came up with this kind of thesis statement. And my purpose for writing this is to encourage university students to trust God more as they experience different kinds of trials. Now, why am I reading these again? Because I want to refresh my mind. Okay, I want to keep these as like my north star, so that I won't get lost as I write my paragraphs. Okay, let's move on. So the first point I made is the more we experience trials, the more we should rejoice. Okay, first of all, I should indent. Oh, where are we? Okay, I should indent my. Oh, it's already indented. Let me just remove the indentation. All right. So I just want to press tab. Oh, it's a big indentation. Oh, it doesn't matter. let's not let's not be concerned about minute details at this point. So basically, when I wrote the more we experience trials, the more we should rejoice, remember this is my topic sentence. So this is the most important point I am making in my paragraph. So I want to keep it at the beginning of the sentence. That will I will explain later on why. The more we should the more we experience trials, the more we should rejoice. Okay, Apple, don't automatically indent my paragraph. I don't like it. Sorry, I just couldn't help myself. Ah, it's indenting my paragraph. Okay, just pretend there is an indentation here. Sorry about that. Okay, I had to do it manually. So this is my topic sentence. Now, um, I want to talk about how we normally respond to trials. So the more we experience trials, the more we should rejoice. Okay. Um, I know that this sound okay that this sounds um, absurd. I want to use that term. I know that this sounds absurd because normally when someone experiences trials, he or he okay, let me make it different. The last thing he would think of doing is rejoicing. This is counterintuitive. And for Christians, okay, okay, let me change it now. Even worse, for some Christians, they begin to question God's love. But what does the Bible say about how we should respond to trials? Okay. So I'm gonna quote James 1 2. Um, okay. James 1 2 for you. Sorry. Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. I don't like the version of NLT in this one. I guess I am more familiar with NIV. So just in this case, so I want to use NIV. Okay. The Bible clearly says, okay, how do we do direct quotation? So whatever you see in the verses, you just copy it off. Okay, don't change anything. Don't change anything. So consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. Okay, let's stop right there. Okay, if you look at the version NIV, um, it has it has a comma. So I don't want to include the comma because I'm trying to end the sentence, right? So just to signify that there are just to indicate that there are missing words. That means the sentence was chopped. It wasn't complete. I'll just put I'll just put ellipsis, and then um, James 1 16. Oh, I never thought it would my paragraph would be so long. Sorry. James 1 James 1 2. That's right. Okay. It looks awkward to actually keep the ellipsis here, but it's okay. Okay. I have one more to quote, which is First Peter 4:12. Okay, that means I'm gonna have to make this smaller. I hope you can still see it. Yes. Okay, I really hope you can still see it. Now, what do I want to say? The Bible clearly says, yeah, I'm kind of lost. So, the more we experience trials, the more we should rejoice. I know that this sounds absurd because normally when someone experiences trials, the last thing you would think of doing is rejoicing. This is counterintuitive. Even worse, for some Christians begin to question God's love. But what does the Bible say about how we should respond to trials? The Bible clearly says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. Okay. Uh, what do I do? What do I say now? See, I'm lagging. I don't know what to write now. I I I I don't know if I should go on with First Peter 4:12. Let's just try that first. Okay, now for First Peter 4:12, let's go there. I want to do a paraphrase. You don't need to do a paraphrasing. You don't need to paraphrase your verses or your direct quotations, but I want to do that because I don't want to, as I said in my reflection paper tutorial, I don't want my writing to be a hodgepodge of direct quotations, even though this is the word of God. But I want to, like, I have just used a direct quotation in this paragraph. I don't want to use another one. Okay. Verse 12. Dear friends, do not be surprised at the fiery ordeal that has come on you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you. Okay. Yeah, so maybe I can just say, and and Peter, in addition, yeah, let's make it a bit more formal because I already use and here. Where is that? It doesn't matter, but I wanted to show you. And in addition, Peter, okay, Peter also reminds us, actually reminds the Christians, but that includes us also, reminds us that we should not be surprised when we experience trials. Okay. Yeah, so basically, are we done or do we want to put more? Um, because there are still other points we want to mention, which will be mentioned in the other paragraph. So I'm tempted to give a reason why they should rejoice, why we should rejoice and not be surprised. But I don't want to preempt the next point I want to give, which is in point B. Okay, point B is talking about the reason why we should rejoice. So I think I'm okay with this. The only thing I would want to add is I want a transition to the next paragraph. It's not required, but if you can, it will be good because it will make not only your sentences connected within your paragraph, but it will make your paragraph connected to each other. So that way, your readers can easily follow your train of thoughts. Okay? Remember, you're not writing for your professor, you're writing for your audience. When you write an essay, even if it's your professor who asks you to write an essay, remember that uh, think of someone who can make good use of your essay, not your professor, because your professor is just gonna check your essay, right? So imagine that you're really giving this to to a young person, to a young person. Uh, you're gonna be like Paul. And for those of you who experienced campus ministry, I think um, this would be a good exercise for you because you know the trials, the struggles that university students go through. Anyway, Pure remind us that we should not be surprised. But the big question you might have right now is why? Why should we rejoice when trials come? And okay, let's make it questions you might have right now is why? Why should you? Okay, okay. I'll keep it. I was supposed to write and how, but maybe I can because the third paragraph is going to talk about how, right? Now, I guess we can do that in the in the second paragraph. So, just question. Okay? Yeah, we are done with our first paragraph. Our first paragraph. Now, you have an option to stop right here and to check for some mistakes, for some things you can improve on, especially on the content, for some punctuation mistakes. Yeah, you have that kind of option. But my personal recommendation is that you go on to the next paragraph. Try to finish your body in one sitting. In one sitting. That way, because what happens if you stop right now, you will lose your momentum, you know, like you're in the zone already. And you're going to be losing that. That's the first one. And the second one is your your train of thought might be gone. So when you come back from a break, what would happen? What might happen is, oh, where was I again? You will be having a hard time picking up where you left off, from where you left off. So I would suggest that you just go on to the next point, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. So you can pause this video, stand up, take a break. But for me, no taking a break because I would lose my train of thoughts. Okay, so now that we've written the first point, which is our response when it comes to trials, our attitude when it comes to trials, then let's talk about the reason why we can rejoice and we should rejoice when it comes to trials. Okay. Point B. So trials build our characters. Now to further connect this, Apple, what are you doing? Okay. To further connect this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna put this. Mm, the reason why we can rejoice in the midst of trials. Okay. I want to change it. When trials come our way is because trials actually build our character. According to James, in the same chapter, okay, in the same chapter, no, might be unclear. According to James, okay, I'll have to check. What did I write there? How did I introduce my direct quotation here? Okay, the Bible clearly says, because I wanna change the way I introduce direct quotations. If I always say according to James, according to James, according to Jesus, it will be like um, it will be boring, repetitive. So I want to avoid that. According to James, so I'm gonna include another direct quotation. Okay. Oh, yes. I'm in First Peter. Okay. Because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Okay. According to James, okay, again, the this is a sentence this is a part of a sentence that was clipped off, like it starts with because in the original verse, and it's part of a full sentence, But since this, if I remove because, it can stand alone as a sentence, I can just remove it. I mean, I can just start with a capital letter because it is a sentence. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. Oh, also wanted to quote verse 4. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. But I want to keep that at bay. I will quote that later, okay? James 1 3. Okay? So, according to James, the testing of your faith produces perseverance. In other words, God's purpose for one of God's purposes for allowing you to go through trial is to develop your perseverance. As as a popular as the saying goes, I love this one. What cannot kill you can make you stronger. Can or will, I forgot. Make you stronger. Okay, let me just make sure I'm quoting accurately. So I don't want to use my computer because it's already struggling. What cannot make you? What cannot kill you? Makes you stronger. And there seems to be no specific reference for this. What doesn't kill you makes you okay. This is according to dictionary.com. So as the saying goes, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So the next time, okay, all right, let me just write it. So the next time you think that, you know what, I'm just in the first point and it's already very long. So I'm a bit concerned right now, but it's okay. Let me just, as I said, revisions come later. So so the next time you think of giving up or questioning God, when you encounter a trial, yeah, normally even us we ask a question, why me, Lord? Why me, Lord? And God's gonna answer, why not? So what doesn't kill you makes you strong. So the next time you think of giving up or questioning God when you encounter a trial, you know what? I want to put that of asking, why me, Lord? Consider God's purpose for your trial. Okay. Um, yeah, to make it shorter, I think I would want um, to include the because I was planning to mention verse 4 after this, but I think I can just mention them all together. So the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work in you. Let me make sure that I'm quoting correctly. This is the word of God. Okay. See? Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete. Okay. Perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you will be, again, this is purpose. So that is purpose. What's the purpose? Why you should let perseverance finish its work so that you will. See, I lost my train of thought. You will what? So you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. You may be, okay, sorry, may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. All right. So let's just include, oh, I should not include a period here. I'm sorry. 3 and 4. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I should think aloud, right? But I'm trying to read it. In other words, one of God's purposes for allowing you to develop your perseverance is to develop your perseverance. God is not concerned. God is not as concerned about your comfort than he is about your maturity or character. So in other words, I want to remove this, I think. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, there's the beach ball. That means my computer is struggling. As a computer go, sorry, as the saying goes, kill you makes you stronger. So the next thing I think of giving or asking. Okay, this is becoming slower. I already warned you. I'm quite indecisive right now, which is something very normal for me. Are you like me? One of the guys swap your perseverance. Okay, I want to remove this because it's gonna be out of place when I included that. God is not when I included this statement. God is not concerned about your comfort than he is about your character development. Hmm. Development. Okay. So the next time you ask, "Why me, Lord?" Consider. Oh yeah, this should be a question mark. It's a question, LJ. Consider God's purpose for your trial. He loves you so much that he wants to. He cannot. He cannot afford. Maybe there's a better word. He cannot afford to see you unchanged. Okay. Now, Wow, it's already quite long. Not really. It's just that our space is is quite okay. I think I can remove this already, or I'm gonna put it right here. Hopefully, it won't cover my face. Okay, can you still see it? I hope you can still see it. Yeah, so that we can write more. I want to demonstrate this to you. So I think we can end in this paragraph. I don't want to be writing the next paragraph, okay? Because it has taken a longer time, which is what I warned you about. The very thing that I warned you about. Okay. You may, yeah, so we are now at second point. God cleanses us so that He can use us. Uh, Dear God's purpose, spiritual. He loves you so much that He cannot afford to see you unchanged. Uh, I'm lost. I'm officially lost. Okay, so let me just stop right here and read what I have written so far because I'm lost. I'll be very honest. The reason why we can rejoice when trials come our way is because trials actually build our character. According to James, the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. In other words, one of God's purposes for allowing you to go through trial is to develop your. Okay, I want to move the. In other words. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I guess I don't want to focus on just perseverance because it's perseverance, and the end result is not just perseverance itself, but maturity, right? To develop your character, and help you become mature. In other words, God is not as concerned about your comfort than He is about your character development. So the next time you ask, "Why me, Lord?" consider God's purpose for your trial. Okay, not just consider. I want to be more specific. Um, think of, yeah, no, it's not at the end of the sentence. Think of how what God is trying to accomplish. Okay, so think of the fruit He is. Oh. Think of the. Okay, no, I want to be more specific. Think of what God. Think of how God is changing you to become more like Jesus. Isn't that the goal? Isn't that the very purpose why God created us? This is like a paraphrase of Romans 8. Sorry, not Romans. Ephesians. This is something we read with Kuya Brown. Ephesians 2:10, which says, "For we are God's workmanship in Christ Jesus, created to do good works." Is that the one? Is that the verse I'm quoting? Is that the right verse I should be quoting? Let's see. Mm. No, I'm looking for that verse that says, "So that we would be conformed to the likeness of His Son." Conformed Yes. Oh, yes. I was right at the beginning. Romans 8:29. Yeah, he also predestined, which is also a verse we read, right? Last Tuesday. Yeah, last Tuesday. Yeah. So Romans, sorry about that, Kuya Brown. I forgot that. Romans 8:29. Yeah. So sometimes you can just ask that, like, this is my reference. This is my reference. You don't need to quote the whole verse. In this case, it will be very long, and for me, it's unnecessary. You have a Bible, you can just check what I'm trying to say. So that's like what I'm trying to do with this one. Yeah, but I have to put it here because Romans 8:29 will be hanging if I don't put it inside. Why God created us? Yeah, He loves us so much. Yes, I want I want to make my. Let me think about. Okay, all right. That I think that's okay. He loves you so much that He cannot afford to see you and change unchanged. And moreover, yeah. So I already used in addition. Now I'm gonna use moreover. Paul made it very clear. So again, I want to paraphrase, but you can include a direct quotation because we did we included the direct quotation here. So but I want to paraphrase. The good thing about paraphrasing is you get to be in control of your writing. That's what I said, right? I don't want to do a lot of direct quotations. Okay, sorry, I forgot. I don't know if you can read this. I have to make this bigger, which I can't. So I. Oh yeah, Apple. Why do you do that? Okay, that's better, right? Moreover, Paul makes it clear that God, in His holiness, I'm going to talk about that verse in 2 Timothy 2:20 that talks about in a large house there are many articles and um, it's like some are for good use, some are for noble purposes, some are for ignoble purposes, and for God to be able to use you, you have to cleanse yourself. That's what the verse is talking about. Again, that's a paraphrase. Paul makes it clear that God in His holiness can only use us when we are clean, when we are sanctified. So if you want to be useful for God's kingdom, oh, I forgot the connection there. When we are sanctified, and He sanctifies us through trials. So if you want to be useful for God's kingdom, I think I can just, yeah, yeah, I think I can just move this right here. So I won't be repeating myself, right? I'm not sure. Let's just try. Okay, God is changing you to become more like Jesus so that he he can use you mightily for his kingdom. Okay? Yeah. Okay, the last one is Joseph. We're going to talk about Joseph. We can clearly see this in the life of Joseph. Yeah, let's just copy it. I don't want to elaborate it, I just want to mention it. Not only because the paragraph is too long already, but there's no need for it. There's no need to elaborate it. Yeah. Okay, so we are done with the second paragraph. Now, my problem usually when I copy and paste is my transitions might not be smooth enough because I just copied and pasted the last one. So let me read the last part to make sure that it's not out of place. And he sang, okay, let me just read the whole thing. The reason why we can rejoice when trials come our way is because trials actually build our character. According to James, the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. One of God's purposes for allowing you to go through trial is to develop your character and help you become mature. In other words, God is not as concerned about your comfort than He is about your character development. Isn't that the very purpose why God created us? He loves you so much that He cannot afford to see you unchanged. Mm, okay, so I'm coming from like I'm talking about us, and the next sentence is I'm talking about you. So I think in this case, although you can do that, but I prefer sorry, always forget to look at the camera. I prefer uh, to keep my what do you call that? Point of view. Is that right? Point of view consistent. He loves us so much that he cannot afford to see us unchanged. So moreover, Paul makes it clear that God in His holiness can only use us when we are sanctified, and He sanctifies us through trials. So the next time you ask, why me, Lord? Think of how God is changing you to become more like Jesus so that He can use you mightily for His kingdom. So the next time you ask, why me, Lord? When, yeah, I forgot that. When we go through trials, think of how God is changing you to become okay so that he can use you. Okay, now I shifted from us to you because I want to talk to the audience, to the young people. Why me? God is changing you to become more like Jesus so that he can use you mightily for his kingdom. We can clearly see this in the life of Joseph. God let Joseph go through trials to prepare him for his big responsibility. One thing I forgot, yeah. So our third paragraph is going to be talking about what should we do in the midst of trials? How specifically can we show our dependence on God? How specifically can we rejoice? So I ought to include that transition. But again, you might be asking, how? The next paragraph talks about it. Oh no, this is too formal. I want to make it conversational, but I don't remember how. Okay, yes. And then when I begin the third paragraph, I can I can introduce or I can connect it to this paragraph by saying um, something like this. The reason why, yeah. So that that will ensure that my paragraphs are well connected. Ah, let me just breathe. That was. I'm gonna stop right there, okay? Because I think I was able to demonstrate enough um, of how to write a paragraph using the outline that you wrote. So actually, while I'm recording this, I still haven't seen your outlines. So tomorrow um, I'm gonna be looking at your outlines. That will be the first step. When you have a good outline, it will be easier for you to write your paragraphs because, as I said, that will be like your north star, whatever. Okay, so that concludes our tutorial, video tutorial. I'm always mispronouncing that. Video tutorial for today. I'll see you in the next video and I'll see you in the class tomorrow.